especially in the second half of this Q&A. A teď už nebudu dlouho zdržovat. Prosím, přivítejte toho nejhodnějšího ropného magnáta na světě, Patrika Duffyho! This iconic scene, what I love about this, that it was actually one of the first time when the creators of the show had really listened to the fans, which demanded Bobby Ewing back. But you guys had the terrible quest of how to think of how to do it actually, and how to keep it a secret.
Yes.
How to pull it out.
Well, it's very interesting because when I left the show and I was gone a year, in the middle of that year that I was gone, Hagman called me up, Larry Hagman, JR, called me up. It was in the days before cell phones, so you had an answer machine, you know, in your kitchen, and my little red light was blinking, so I turned it on, and Larry said, Patrick, this is Larry, come out to Malibu, I want to take a jacuzzi, get drunk, I have to ask you something. I said, okay. So I went out to Malibu and got drunk and took a jacuzzi. And he asked me to come back on the show. So the interesting thing was, though, when he said that on the answer machine, I turned to my wife and I said, I'll bet you they're going to ask me to come back. And she said instantly, she said, well, the only way you could come back is if that role last season was a dream. She actually thought that. So it wasn't her idea in the sense that the producers also thought that. But if you think about it, if you have to solve that problem, which is insoluble, the only way to do it is the way that literature has done it, whether it's Alice in Wonderland is a dream, or you know, a third of Shakespeare's comedies are dreams. If you have a problem, you just wake up. You just wake up and nothing happened. It doesn't work if you're having a fight with your wife, however. You can't just wake up and go, nothing didn't happen, honey. But that was the only way they could solve it. And it did upset some people, you know, but in the end, they were glad to get the show back to where it was. And we did 5 more years, you know, after Bobby came back. So it did work, you know, and it continues to work.
It continues to work, but you also, because at some point, and everybody knew that Bobby was coming back, but how did you manage? I know it was a time before internet and everything, but still, people were talking.
Yeah, you couldn't spoil it the way you do now with the media that we have and cell phones and all the other kind of stuff. But in those days, we still had the equivalency of paparazzi and tabloid media and those kind of things. And even on your own set, when a tabloid like The Enquirer or something, they would offer a lot of money to get a scoop, to get a night, you know, somebody to give them a script and that kind of thing. So we knew we couldn't do the shower scene on our own set. We couldn't do it with a Dallas crew, with anybody. So our producer, Leonard Katzman, who was a dear friend of mine, he and myself were the only 2 people who knew what we were doing. And what he did was he went to another company in Los Angeles who only does television commercials, you know, for car commercials and dog food and everything. So they built, not like this, but they built the shower scene in a big studio soundstage, this size, and a little shower right in the middle of it. And we spent an entire day filming a commercial for soap. Irish Spring soap. I don't know if you have an Irish Spring here, but it's a green and white bar of soap. So I spent an entire day in a shower like that, with my back to the door, and they would call action, and I'd turn around, the door would open, and I'd say, "Good morning." And then I would wait just enough that we knew it was going to be a freeze frame at the end of the show. So I'd say, "Good morning." And you can have a good morning too if you wake up like the Duffy family with Irish Spring soap. It's refreshing. And I did the whole commercial. And I did it over and over and over because we had to pretend that it was really a commercial. Otherwise, they would have said, "Wait a minute. It takes a day to film a commercial, not one take." So we filmed an Irish Spring commercial, and they took that one little piece and did it at the end of the show. But even then, they couldn't put it in the Dallas episode until the last minute, the last second. So what happened is, a man, actually it's like a spy movie, a man took the film of that piece of the Dallas episode from Los Angeles on an airplane to New York, the day of the show that it was going to be on TV. And just before they put it on the national feed, they edit that scene into the movie at the last second. So even the editors wouldn't know how the show was going to end until just before it went on the air. That's how secretly we had to do it. So, and now you couldn't keep a secret like that no matter what. So everybody knows everything.
Oh my God, that must have been, an adrenaline ride for everyone involved.
It was kind of fun. It was exciting to realize that we were trying to pull one over on the entire world.
Almost like James Bond action.
Well, especially the guy with the suitcase. I don't think it was handcuffed to him, but it should have.
Well, you have this iconic scene, but with all respect, due to you, Larry Hagman had an iconic character of JR as the ultimate villain. Even in Czech Republic, when you want to say that someone is really a shady villain, you can still say he's a JR.
He's a JR.
It works internationally. What was your relationship between the white hat and the black hat on the set?
Well, on the set and off the set were actually the same thing. It was whether the camera was rolling or not. Larry Hagman was my best friend I had in my life. From the day we met, we read the script of Dallas. That's the first day I met him. The entire cast got together and read the script. We didn't know anybody. Hi, I'm Linda Gray, I'm Steve Kennedy, and I shook Larry's hand. I'm Patrick. I'm Larry Hagman. I shook his hand. I went home that day after reading the script, and I told my wife, I said, "I think I met my best friend today." And it turned out to be true. That he and I were best friends from that handshake till the day he died. I was at the hospital by his bedside when he died. So we were best friends that entire time. And we had more fun. We were the absolute opposite of our characters. We were never serious. We just had fun. It was like two children on a playground until the camera was turned on. As soon as the camera turned on, we did our parts. We became Bobby and JR. But even then, there was something in the eyes when I grabbed him or whatever. I was throwing him in the swimming pool or whatever it was. And all the time, I could just see his eyes almost laughing. And it was such fun. It was such great fun. But the characters themselves, we both thought we were the hero of the show. And I think that was the secret of JR. JR thought he was a hero. He thought he was doing everything right. He was doing it for the right reasons. And he was doing the wrong things, but for the right reasons. And Bobby was doing the right things for the right reasons. And it was a great dynamic, especially to do it with your best friend.
Oh, it's so nice. Special morning routine with Larry.
Yeah, that was quite a morning routine. That's why you had a liver transplant. Yeah. But so every morning, well, when we read the script, I told you about the cast got together at Warner Brothers studio, and they got a big table in a room, and we all had the scripts and everything. We all came in. Larry came in dressed with a cowboy hat, a leather shirt with fringe, leather boots, character. And on his shoulder, he had saddlebags. And in Westerns, on the back of a horse, you know, they have saddlebags that they put all their stuff in. And his saddlebags had bottles of champagne. So he had about 6 or 7 bottles of champagne when he came in. So we read the script and drank champagne. And I thought, well, isn't that a fun thing to do once? Every morning for 13 years, when I would go to work, we would get to work at 6:30, 7 in the morning. I would drop my bags in my dressing room. I'd go to Larry's dressing room. We would open a bottle of champagne, and we would have a glass of champagne to start the day. Every single morning for 13 years. That's what we did.
Oh.
That was our tradition. Which explains why after lunch you couldn't understand the word we said.